And we are here at Martinsville. This time, the Xfinity Series is here at the track for the NAPA Sim Series. 37 cars, 145 laps. And after what we saw in the truck race yesterday, things can get pretty wild at this racetrack. And now, a bit more experienced drivers, a bit more faster cars. Who knows what to expect here today at Martinsville here in the 145 laps we are going to run tonight under the lights once again. Sean and Arctic will be leading this field to green. A rather interesting front row, but then you got two powerhouse drivers behind them in row two in Mac and Bug. This is going to be a wild one tonight. I am Dylan, joined by Chris and Mac in the booth like always. Well, guys, we all watched the truck race yesterday. It was wild, but now we set our sights forward to tonight's race. How do we think this is going to go?
Well, we saw a somewhat, maybe somehow clean, a mostly clean truck race. I don't expect it to stay that way, especially with the bigger stock, more car-like cars we have here. This place is a madhouse for a reason, and I'm sure the madhouse will manifest in one of these races. We have to always watch for that. Is that race going to be this race? Probably, but we have to see. Considering how this race ended in the fall for these guys was, very interesting.
And I have a similar opinion to Mac because this field has a lot more experienced drivers in the field. I expect the field to be closer compared to what we saw in the truck race because we have to say it again, right? The truck drivers are inexperienced. There's a majority of rookies in there, and the driver that we saw at the front in the truck race, Boca Blitz, they are the most experienced drivers around that style of racing and short track racing. They've been doing it for a long time now. But with these guys, they're so much more experienced that I think there's going to be some more close racing here.
Yeah, we saw Boca Blitz and Cezernia battle out for the win for over 50 laps in yesterday night's truck race, and it was hard to pass. We only saw 3 leaders in the entire race, and the majority of it was Cezernia. But who knows? We have more laps today, more cars, and a lot faster cars. So who knows what we're going to see today, but definitely chaos is going to occur eventually this weekend. Like Max said, it always happens. There's always that madhouse race, the crazy race. We still got 2 races to go. It could very well be both of them or one of them, but it's not going to be none of them. There will be a race where all hell breaks loose, and we'll see when that happens. But Sean and Arctic, they got the best seat in the house to try and avoid that mess. They'll be leading the field to green. Let's see where the rest of the drivers are starting here in today's race. In row 1, Sean and Arctic. Back to row 2, Mac and Bug. Row 3, Data, who won at Motegi last time out in the Xfinity Series. He's next to Perry. Good qualifying effort. Row 4, truck driver Luke running an Xfinity race, qualified P7. He's next to rookie Chase. And back to row 5, rookie Sheldon Pre with a nice top 10 effort next to Scene. Row 6, Flower and Javier. Row 7, CJ. And welcome back Sims, making one of her few starts this season.
Then in row 8, we got Gino Kep and NASCAR Sim. Row 9, we have Cole and Boco Blitz. And in the last spots of our top 20, it's going to be Dalton and Mike in row 10. Row 11 goes to the 51 of New alongside the 05 of Jacob. Then row 12, we have Matthew and Ty in the 72, making one of his few Xfinity starts this year. Following them in row 13 is going to be Raymond Fox and TXN. Row 14 has Cam and Sub NASCAR.
In row 15, we have the 52 of Meme starting next to Nexus Code. And then behind them, we have the 77 of Isolated next to Witty, hoping to turn his fortunes around. And then behind them, we have the 4 of Noah and the 47 of Bella. And then behind them, Redeem. He did good in Motegi last week next to the 30 of Spend. And in the final row, we have Breck Bulu and the 5.
Yep, 37 cars for today's race. We are missing out on that 38th spot, so no D&Qs. 145 laps. Let's get racing here in Martinsville.
Drivers, start your engines.
In engines are fired. The green flag is up next. And we are rolling here. Similar to kind of what I said yesterday, pace laps are going to be a bit funky here. We're just going to wait for the green flag here. Sean and Arctic will lead the field to green. Sean is really, really good at this racetrack, so no wonder he has won the pole. Arctic to his outside, and teammate and car owner Mac will start third. And off turn 4 to the green flag. We are underway. Already contact as we hit the green flag. 3 wide off into turn 1.
Yeah, some guys just do not get rolling. It looks like we already get some 3x3 action further on back. A huge launch for Sean. And like you said, he is so good at this racetrack. He dominated here in the spring and trucks in their race here. And yeah, we get to see all the contact being made as we fly through the field. Everyone beating and banging, trying to gain positions.
The 36 there to the inside of Mac. Mac starting in that bottom line in the second row, starting to lose a spot there. But how about that 35 machine of Luke? He did good yesterday in the truck race, gaining points on the top 2 that wrecked out, if you remember. And they're running in 4th place at Chase. He had a good race last week at Motegi as well, trying to get another representative here.
A bunch of action here all throughout the field. This is where you make passes. The back of the pack is going to be absolutely insane because you got to make passes while you can. And similar to yesterday, that high side has nothing to it. Sims falling back early, isolated, trying to make moves. You just got to get to the bottom. If not, you're just going to fall to the back. There is just no way around it. You just got to force a spot in line. Seeing who started in the top 10 is fading back. I mean, this is what the entire early portion of the race is going to be, just trying to get some early positions and find yourself in a good spot here. But if you end up falling back early, it gets to a point where it gets insanely hard to make passes, so you got to do it now.
Yeah, your rallies are going to have to be quick and they're going to have to be early if you want to make your way to the back, as Chase there can't get around Luke. We're starting to see it file out already, and the pass is becoming tougher and tougher as this goes on. We fly by the field as some guys are dropping big time in the back.
And I want to point out really quick that while Chase has put pressure on that 35 machine of Luke, behind them, I'm noticing some comers and goers. The number one trend of the story, number one trend of the season, it seems, comers and goers. That 70 machine of Perry enters into the top 10. Good run for him. And that 53, on the other hand, moving backwards, started on the front row, now under pressure from Bug, and under pressure from CJ Will as well.
And then, right behind him, he is faded back slightly, but still running in 12. I just can't say enough about this double zero machine of Sheldon Creed. This car is currently in the top 12 in points. A driver that has come into most of these tracks blindly. Well, he is figuring it out really quickly. And right behind him, another rookie. That's Raven, the 41, and Cole in the 29. This is the type of track where some rookies could have a bit more experience here. Short tracks. A lot of these guys come up from the short tracks. And this is a type of track where they could make their way through the field, as you see 3 rookies right here, 12, 13, and 14. And let's not forget, we have more rookies up by the front of the field.
Yep, that is including that number 9 of Sean, who we have seen the raw speed this guy has, but look who's being ran down by 4-time winner last season in Data, and I believe Data did win on a short track last season. Yeah, he did, technically Dover, he has won on the shorter track before, he's been good there, but Data, after his Motegi win, wanted to back it up with the Martinsville win, and the first move of that process is about to be underway. Oh, maybe a little brake check there by Sean.
Yeah, that 36 is looking racy. You mentioned it, Mac. He won last week at Motegi, won it in a close duel between himself and Chase. And for those of you watching the race right now, go ahead and watch it last week and see how he won that. But Data once again looking to back it up. But Sean himself is also looking to break his mulligans because he's also had some pretty good speed this season, but not quite been able to finish it off here at the end of these races.
Yeah, Data closed in but couldn't really make a move. Sean kind of backed up the corner. Made Data let off a little bit. Now he kind of runs back away from him. And that allows Mac to keep up in P3 and Luke staying strong in P4 and P5 is Chase. I mean, how do you feel if you are Data and Luke? You're in the top 5, but you also got 3 Sunbelt cars right up your alley. How do you avoid this? Well, Data, he's the one on offense, actually. He's ahead of 2 of those cars, and it's trying to run down Sean. But if you're Luke, you're in between a Sunbelt sandwich, and you know how good these cars are. You got to hold off this 04 for as long as possible, and maybe make a charge at this 44 if you can.
Yeah, and the organizational structure of Sunbelt Stars have been very clear. Two of the biggest and most hyped prospects on their team. Another rookie in Whitty that hasn't been that great so far, but you maybe see the vision, and then an all-star car. And the 3 pieces that they needed to show up the most of that structure have shown up early in this season. However, we have not seen it translate to wins just yet for that organization. But I will say, I doubt that stays true for much longer.
Right, like, Shauna's came close twice this season, once at Texas, once at Las Vegas, led a lot of laps at both, but just hasn't been able to get the job done, and looking to get the job done here. But like you said, sandwich, there's a Sunbelt Stars sandwich between Data and behind him with Luke, because Luke is under pressure from Chase under pressure from that 3 Toyota machine of Flower. But I mean, it's not a matter of how fast these cars are, because we know how fast the Sunbelt Chevrolets are, but it's a question of just when they'll get it done, because they've been fast every week so far.
By the way, about Flower, good effort to start off. She has not been the same person we saw last year. Has not had a single top 10 yet, or even a top 15 yet to start off this season. It has not been up to her standards that we saw at the end of last season, and she was particularly great on these short tracks. I think she came pretty close to a win in Richmond, in one of the Richmond races last season, but we are starting to maybe catch that traffic here, as Sean's still out at front, having led every lap so far.
Yeah, this is one of those tracks where you can just log the laps. It is pretty easy to lock up those laps led at short tracks like this, because just as we've talked about in the pre-race, it's so hard to pass, especially because all of these cars throughout the top 5 and 10, they are pretty even. So you have to make a pretty big mistake, or you just have to have a real good handling car to be able to truly make a move in clean air. It's always the lap traffic or the chaos that can occur from wrecks that can always shift the field on the restarts. Anything can happen at this racetrack, but 24 laps in, I'm sure Data's not that eager to make the move. But I'm telling you, with these bunch of cars up ahead here, very soon Data is going to be wanting to make a move on the 9, and if they both struggle, there are a bunch of cars right behind ready to pounce as well. Sheldon Creed has entered the top 10.
Yeah, you can't say enough about this guy. Came from European stock car racing out in the UK, which is another topic we maybe discuss about soon, and how the European stock car scene is starting to bustle a lot and produce very promising prospects such as Sheldon Creed and Raymond Fox just behind him, a few spots behind him. But the continent of Europe is starting to produce some very interesting prospects, and we are starting to see floods of these international prospects, not even just from Europe even. But Sim's a little slow there, trying to get around the 77 isolated. But yeah, international prospects are becoming a new phenom in this series, so it'll be very interesting to see how that develops as the year goes on.
Man, these drivers back here were unbelievable. I just watched Isolated clear up on Sims. And, Jacob has a little bit of a front damage there. That might have been from that opening lap contact. They were wrecking at the start of the race, but they all kept it going. Sims is not letting that 77 stay ahead of her. She made the move, got by, but I'm sure this is a lot of pressure on her because she came out last year in the Cup Series with multiple wins and did pretty well in the playoffs, and all of a sudden, she retired. It was kind of unexpected at the moment, you know, as the retirements have kind of began here. We saw IW as well leave last season. But Sims is back for some part-time efforts in the Xfinity Series, and right now, running P22, she knows she can do better. She was a contender week in and week out in the Cup Series, running the iconic Hasbro and Sims sponsor and pink color, trying to make move on truck winner Boca Blitz, but just can't get there yet. And behind her real quick, Ty Isolated. Great run for both of these cars. If you want some really good drivers to run these kind of slower cars, these are two drivers that you could definitely get to have some great runs, and you're seeing it right now, both of them in the top 25.
Yeah, great runs for both of them, and especially for Boca Blitz, because Boca Blitz has momentum from yesterday after winning that truck race. But I want to point out really quickly from a couple of laps ago that the leaders are catching up to lap traffic at the tail end. They were catching Bella, and actually right now the leader has caught up to Bella, and in front of her is the 5 of Breck Blue, started in the rear, gained 1 position from the start. And we saw how that affected the truck race yesterday, how Caesarnia led a bunch of laps, but ultimately got past for the lead late, and Sean has to negotiate these lap cars quickly here, as Bella won't make it easy on him.
Yeah, you saw how when it gets in these green flag runs, and especially once we get maybe later in the race, we start getting damaged cars. What matters is not if you're fast, it's matter if you can't maneuver live traffic.
Oh, no.
And there's the consequence of not being able to maneuver live traffic. Data to the inside of Sean. Data takes the lead there at the line. He's going to easily get by the number 9 machine. And like I was saying, it's not going to matter how quick you are anymore. It's going to matter if you can maneuver lap traffic better, because you could have a bad, fast car, but it just starts getting tight. It starts getting slow in lap traffic. And that's where you can easily be ran down and passed.
And look behind them, Mac, because the 44 has caught up to both of them. The 36 is having trouble getting by the 47. Bella, like I said, not making it easy. She wants to stay on the lead lap in case a caution comes out, which right now doesn't seem to be the case, but she gets passed there by Data and gets passed by Sean next. And in front of them, Breck Blue in the wall there, gets tight, keeps it going. And if you're Data, you're saying to yourself, please stay on your line, because a 5 got into the wall there, and in front of him, we got the 30 of Spin, we got Witty, we have the 89 up next as well, and it's not going to be easy for them.
Mike has a little bit of damage. That could have also been from lap 1, but who knows? There could have been some banging there, a lot of contact. And 38 laps in, the top 3 is starting to close in, and Chase has entered P4 in the meanwhile, and battle for 5th. Flower continues to move up in a big move from Bug into the corner. Luke kind of left that entry open, but ooh, what a good exit. But ooh, never mind, got a little bit tight there off exit. You do not want to hit the wall. That's going to slow you down so much. Bug continuing to move forward, and at this point, he's just a guaranteed threat at every single racetrack. You do not want this car to get in front, because this could be really hard to get back by. Maybe a slight wheel hop on entry from Luke, and now has been left vulnerable to the 53 of Arctic as well. Can't fill the hole. Arctic will drive it in there and take that spot. And then up ahead, they still can't get around the 5 of Breck Blue. As I said in the truck rings, everyone tells you to hold your line, stay on the bottom no matter what. Data, though, he will try to make the pass up top. Everyone tries it, and it never works. Data will get it at the line, but Sean is back to the inside for the lead and will take it right back.
Mile out Mac to get in the door there. Yes, he will. Gets a foot in, but can he send it? No, he's not there still. Oh, but
here
now
comes
Sean's
Data.
gonna try it. And here comes Data with a crossover, and Data retakes the lead right back. What a battle we have here, and now Mac, I think, is going to see it. He's going to get by his own teammate. I think now this 44 sees blood in the water. Can he get by the 9, though, is the question. Going to send it in, and he will.
I mean, here's a better question, Mac. Can any of these guys get by the 5? Because the 5 is causing these three a headache. They finally get around the 5, but up ahead of them, the 89 and the 30, Spen and Sup NASCAR were fighting so hard for position. They were side by side, but not anymore. And now they are single file once again. They have to get around those two.
Flower up the P4 starting to interrupt. Here comes the number 3 machine.
Look at
now,
Mac
here comes Mac inside of Data.
Oh, wow. What a move from Mac. Dives it in. He did not have the truck race that he wanted. Could not sniff the top 10 all race, but has the track position tonight. He takes the lead away. Sean wants to get right back into the battle. Keep up with his teammate. Sean looking back for P2 as Mac making easy work of the 30. Flower has moved up to P4, now has to get by the 5. It is scrappy out here at the front as everyone's trying to get by this traffic.
The Chase got held up in traffic.
Oh, Mac way up the track. Sean
up the track
for Sean.
Ooh, good runoff though. He got a good runoff. He was able to hold on there, but that could have been bad right there. You got to be real careful getting off the exit, because if you just wheel hop slightly, we saw a few drivers last night get up on the grass curbing. It completely messed up their cars. You don't want to get up there. Maybe that's what Mac hit. Went up the track a little bit, but now he has got the lead, and now it's his job to hold it, but it's going to be real tough.
And now you look behind them. I noticed earlier when Mac caught it, Chase was being held up by lap traffic and Flower. Oh! Around goes the 30!
Spen goes sideways and does a nice little 360. I think we're going to keep it rolling here. We are still green. Race Control just does not care about the 30. Did a little 360, keeps it going. Didn't really even hinder much of the traffic. Gets right back in line. And I know if you're Spen, you're going to be furious, but that was a pretty nice save. But I'm sure now he is thinking, maybe I should have looped the thing, because Race Control keeps it green. Data back for P2.
I think that 3 might be the best of these 4 at maneuvering lap traffic, and now she's in striking distance, same as his 04 Chase. But I want to go back to Spen, man. That spin is just a sign of how his season has gone to the top prospect. He was destroying it in ARCA, put up 12 wins on route to a championship in the series, but that success has just not at all translated in a car that won 4 races last year en route to a Final Four appearance with Riley Davis Jr. It has been a horrific year for Spendin, and trying anything to get it going, but just can't, as Sup NASCAR is holding up the 44 back, and Mac gonna not even bother with that, give him the bumper right then and there. Down the back straightaway, he's to his inside, should have him here in 3 and 4. Yes, no, it's still battling Sup NASCAR, but now he's got by him.
A good move there from the 44, and I mean, heading into this season, I want to really quickly touch back on a thing you just said. When it comes to Ford prospects, the main prospect was Spen. Not many people were looking at the 00 Luke into the wall. Not many people were looking at this 00, but he has been the driver to impress here out of the Ford camp. He is making some moves and just gradually improving. That's Sean making a move on Sup NASCAR to get around the left traffic and keep up with his other 2 fellow competitors that have been doing a great job in control so far. And we got a slight gap until we hit some faster cars. Nexus Code, Javier, Mike, and if you even want to put Whitty in that category. There's some quicker cars here, and things are going to get a lot more treacherous, but we just saw the 30th Spen go around. That did not bring out a caution, but I'm sure if Race Control sees that happen again, I don't know if they're going to be as lenient, especially if the car struggles to get back going, but that car is still squeaky clean. That car did not touch the wall, but Spen is now definitely trapped a lap down now with, it's going to be really hard to recover that with now the 89 as well, also going a lap down.
And while Mac was talking about prospects, the driver in front of him, the 64 of Whitty, driving a Sunbelt Stars car, piloted by Mac, owned by Mac, and built by Mac, not really living up to the expectations that maybe his team owner maybe wanted from him, while the 9 has been very strong, and some of the bushwhackers in that 44 have also been running pretty good. And It's gonna be a couple more laps until Mac does get to Whitty, but some questions around him for sure as Mac is closing in on it.
Yeah, Whitty, that seat has started becoming a topic of discussion over the past few weeks. The first move, it's likely going to be that he is going to start, he's going to overrule Whitty's personal want of not having any sponsorship on the car. He is going to overrule that in hopes of getting that 64 some better results. But if that doesn't work, things could be very interesting, especially because as we start heading towards what's possibly going to be a very heated mid-season transfer, almost like a transfer market of sorts that might develop in the mid-season that's expected to be very heated and that could be the time for Smack to make a move if he thinks Whitty is not it.
As right ahead of him, Javier side by side with Mike. Mike will take that spot. He needs to put a buffer between as many cars as possible to be able to try and stay on the lead lap. The lead battle is slightly calmed down, and Sup NASCAR continues to just run his line. It's going to become a big problem here. Trying to get by him now, it's Chase, who has lost touch slightly with his teammates. He'll now get to the inside of Sup NASCAR and make that move. Arctic has made his way back up to P6. Sheldon Creed up to P7. CJ P8. A lot of Fords. Bug in P9, and Luke will round out the top 10. Then a slight gap to now New, who's making a good progress up to P11.
I mean, I want to point out the driver that YouTube have been pointing out the entire race, Sheldon Creed. Like, he started below the top 10 and now he's up to 7th place, just slowly grinding it out and moving his way forward as Mac has caught up to Whitty right here. If you're Whitty, your team owner is right behind you. I would not want to hold him up, especially because he's fighting for the lead here with his own car. The 9 has got around the 36 of Data. Data's starting to lose some pace in this longer run. To the inside here, Shaw to the inside, and clears Mac easily.
Ooh, is he going to look right away on the 64 of Whitty? This is a team car. Not sure how much defense the 64 is going to play because this is a team car. It's going to get to a point where Sean, though, is definitely going to get desperate. You do not want to be stuck behind this car. Data, especially, they're right there as well. These have been the 3 up front all race long, and they have not gone away. And they have to really think about getting by the 64 quickly, because if they continue to be held up while the 64 is a bit faster than the other cars they caught earlier, they will be ran down by the 3, the 04, and the others. And Data trying to get back to P2, couldn't get the exit. Mac will be able to cover and hold that spot.
Yeah, but Sean's going to get by the 64 of Whitty now. Pretty important. Even if there's a temporary barrier, Whitty maybe looking to the inside just a little bit, but doesn't do anything there. Smart move there. Maybe you're probably going to, hopefully, at least if you're team owner Mac, let you by.
And now Sean is opening that gap right away. Look at how quickly the gap opened up the second he got by the 64. That is what passing lap traffic does. It just gives you such a big buffer. But here's the thing, in Martinsville, there's going to be lap traffic wherever you go. So you just got to just make passes one by one and just hope that you're the best car at it. Caution's out.
Yellow! Yellow! Look at the yellow!
Sean moves up the track, so there's obviously something occurring on the backstretch.
Oh.
And it's Bella in the 47. I think Gino kept as well in the 38, and Spend in the 30.
Oh, man.
Whoa!
This,
That front end is smash.
I feel horrible. Straight to the garage. I feel horrible for this 30 team. Jacob involved in the 05. Damage to his front end. He already had a bit of front end damage. Now there is more damage. Oh, Boca Blitz runs into TXM, but that's just average cautions at this track. Caution down for the first time. Pace car's taking an alternate route. And just like always, it's in the calamity spot. Down the back straightaway. Sean leads. Let's take a look at what happened.
Let's take a look at what happened here to calling out our first caution as we exit the turn. As we exit turn 2, Cam hooks the 47 of Bella. Nowhere for the unfortunate soul that is Spending to go. Gino Cap hits the 47. And then also Jacob gets involved here after hitting the back of Spend while Spend was trying to get in the pit road after the damage he got from the earlier wreck. Probably Spend, we already saw, just go straight to the garage. Not sure if there'll be any other DNS from this wreck. But the first caution of the day is out. Let's hope all hell doesn't break loose.
So here we go, out of turn 4. Gino Cap side by side with Sims. In front of them is Spend, and in front of Spend, Bella gets turned there. And Spend unfortunately has nowhere to go, neither does Gino Cap. And in front of them we see Jacob hitting Spend, but just like the truck race, Calamity corner and Calamity spot, the back straightaway, and turns 3 and 4.
Whitty will get the free pass. Very fortunate for him. Let's see if he can gain some positions. Let's do a real quick onboard with Sims. On board with Sims. Watch this veteran move. As chaos struck in front of her, she knew exactly what to do. This is not her first rodeo in Martinsville. We're ready to go back racing. Single file restart here at Martinsville. If we do double file, this race will never end. It'll get a little bit stacked up. That's just a product of this track. We don't worry about it. It'll be a little bit separated at the green, but things will get back together as they all stack up in the corners. Green flag is back in the air. Dana wants to instantly look for P2. Mac will try and hang on, and he will for the time being. Sheldon Preed up to P6.
Yeah, as the restarts are always going to be chaotic here. As everyone now wanting to yet again take advantage of it being the easiest to pass. While it is on the restart, there'll be cars shuffling everywhere. Sean in the lead still.
It was the Sunbelt Stars 1-2 at the moment. Bella still not Bella, excuse me. Flower is still running in P4 behind the top 3. Sheldon Preed, like you two mentioned, moves up a spot. Chase is still in 5th place, but I saw there as you were flying by the top 10, Perry getting by Cole there. But yes, this is some close racing here as you're now 3 laps into this run.
Yeah, I mean, real quick, I just want to point this out real quick. The lowest running Shermensky West car is Dalton. The highest running Shermensky West car is Luke. Luke's in 10th, Dalton's in 16th. They're all doing pretty well, but we got 3 rookies pacing this team. That's starting a lot more antsy. Cole was on the bumper of Perry. Sims was on the bumper, I think, maybe NASCAR said it. I'm not sure. I might have looked at that wrong. There are cars starting to get a little bit antsy, starting to get a little bit aggressive, and things are going to get a lot more wild as this race is now getting by halfway because, well, we've seen that first run of the race, a really long run for Martinsville standards, and now these guys are getting a lot more impatient because this is a restart. This is where you can make progress, make your way towards the front, but because it is a single file restart, there's Bella's car. That car is very dinged up. We'll be seeing her very soon. I mean, you gotta go now. This is another opportunity where you have a restart, and restarts are pretty common at this track, but getting caught up in carnage is also pretty common at this track. You do not want to be in the back of that mess right there.
Not at all. As now Chase to the inside of Flower, looking to get back P4 from her. We enter turn 1. Obviously Chase has the preferred line, and right through to take back P4.
And look behind her, Sheldon Preed, as well as the 53 and the 37 Fords coming through. Flower starting to maybe lose some pace, and a couple laps ago, Bug as well got passed for position by Luke. Luke also having a pretty good race in this, but look out behind Flower, those Fords are coming.
Sims also making a little bit of progress. Got by the 97 of Cam earlier, another race for this 97 car, just not really up to full speed. Sims is going to try and power under that 48 of Dalton. She is now beginning to make progress. She fell early on in the race. Ooh, kind of missed the corner right there. There was a stack up entering the corner. Probably did not try to run over the cars in front of her. We'll get a run on the high side. Dalton's going to shut that door right there. Sims will now get back in the line, but this is the mid-pack. Ty still running well, 22nd ahead of Meme. And our truck winner Boca Blitz just, Xfinity car just never seems to translate very well to him. He has struggled quite a bit and has not really moved forward since the start. It's kind of been stagnant in the same area since we started this race.
Yeah, but now Cole getting back by Perry there.
And Bug
Like
right
a 2
ahead.
for 1 here.
Maybe. Bug right ahead. Cole was really good at Richmond last season. Another short track. He might be pretty good at these short tracks. He also had a great run at Motegi, which is more of a flat track. Not a short track, but a flat track, which could also really go in Cole's favor. Cole might be finding a strong suit here of tracks that he can contend for at, and is right outside the door of the top 10, running 12th. He's having a good resurgence after an awful start to the year.
Yeah, and also I like to notice that 51 has made up some places. That 51 of new, that mid-pack, they were mid-pack most of the day, as the leaders have caught up to the 47 of Bella. Car is banged up. Bella probably going to stay out here just to see if we can get some carnage and maybe pick up some spots from DNFs and slower cars and such. Sean's going to easily get by that 47 this time.
Not really much of a fight. That will put Bella 2 down. Whitney did get the free pass. That might be why you saw him on pit road. We were getting the lineup in check. Whitney on the lead lap, though, ahead of a few lead lap cars. Trying to maybe hope for another caution that can keep him in that position. Data as well on by. Bella's definitely slower. Probably not as slow as the trucks we saw that were well off the pace in the truck race yesterday, but still, this team cannot really afford many bad runs, so this team staying out here, knowing how Martinsville gets, will try and salvage a few extra positions, but it is key for her to not also get caught up in those scenarios. So just trying to stay out of the way of everyone and make it as easy as possible for her and everyone else on track, is now letting chase by Sunbelt up front the entire race. I don't think these three have left the top 5.
And speaking of damaged cars, another damaged car in front of them I saw in our peripheral view. That is Gino Cap. Gino Cap was in the accident on the back straightaway, and in front of him we got Sup NASCAR and Wreck Blue, but Gino Cap maybe not as affected as Bella despite being in that accident, but still, like her, trying to hope for a caution as Shelton Pre goes to the inside of her, tries to negotiate around her quickly with the Fords behind him. Oh, move to the inside there. CJ will up the racetrack, and he's going to get past there by New fairly quickly, and also gets around Bella.
Great move
New,
there.
New use the lap car Bell as a pick to get right around that 37 of CJ, as now the leaders have caught up to the rest of this lap traffic. Data trying to run down Sean.
Oh yeah, he is there. Right on Sean's back bumper. I wouldn't be surprised if Sean is already locked up most lap sled. We saw Data and Matt get maybe a pair of like 20 lap sled or so, so it's close for him to lock up most lap sled. He is a Martinsville king, and he has been showing it on display so far today. He's not really had much trouble with the traffic. Gino Cap put up a slight fight, but realized he won't be able to hold him off. Gino Cap will fall lap down here, unless he went a lap down during the cautions. No, so this will put him 1 lap down. That really screws over some of the guys that were hoping for another quick caution, because now, not only are they the first car not 1 lap down, they're now vulnerable to going 2 down. So that is not a great scenario, but Gino Cap still has not really found much of a grip here in this Xfinity car this season. Caution is out once again.
Yellow.
It might be the 47 again. This car is not where she was 2 laps ago, and that car is dinged up. And that is kind of the case of, and the pace cars around, that is not really a good thing for her. This will get Gino Cap back on the lead lap. Caution's out once again. This might be one of the more tamer accidents we see at this track. Let's see what happened.
What happens here to bring out our next caution? Dalton just sends it in on the 47, hooks into the 47, and then wrecks. Not much you can say there, just a pretty questionable move there by the 48, our defending champion. I mean, look more like a rookie out there than the person who's literally defending the title right now.
And Dalton luckily did not get really any damage at all from that, but lost some spots. Just a horrible misjudgment, and poor Bella, that car's even more dinged up. Sims was right by another crash. Let's see what she saw. Here is Sims once again. Sims next to another one, but that one was a lot more easier to avoid. Caution's out once again. We're about to get into the triple digits. We're ready to go back green. Lap 105 when we hit the green. Sean has been in control. How is anyone going to be able to stop him? It's going to be hard on these restarts. Green flag back in the air. He gets on the gas right away as the field's going to stack up mid-pack, but at the front of the pack. Really even restart. Now Data has to try and run him down.
And Sean gets a good getaway on the restart. Data holds position as well for second place with Mac behind him. As Flowers stays in position behind Chase. The top 5 seem to be going away. The top 3 specifically are going away as Mac is putting pressure on Data, and Sheldon Pre putting a little bit of a block there to hold on to that P6 as they cross the line here on lap 106.
Ooh, this has been the closest they've been since, like, the start of the race. Data's right there. This has been the top 3 for the entire race. These 3 have been in control. Data's trying so hard to get by the 9 of Sean, but just can't do it. Sean is such good exits off the corner and is able to hold him off. And now Chase might actually have a look on Mac for a P3, just can't get there. These 3 have been the class of the field, and someone has to find a way to stop it.
Yeah, Data did try to go on the inside of Sean there a couple laps ago, got very loose under him and couldn't do it. Flower tried to attack Chase. Got a lot of attacking happening, but not a lot of moving due to these single file restarts. And we're going to see if that remains as Chase deep setting in is kind of, yeah, like I said, a lot of attacking happening, but we're not really seeing any moves to start off.
And once again, Data trying to look for the lead, but Sean knows exactly where to place that race car. As we see Gino kept there out of pit road, has to go back into pit road, but Data in the opposite position he was at Motegi. At Motegi, he was, this time he's the one that's attacking, trying to get some spots here as CJ tries to pass the 53 there market, but yeah, just pretty hard to pass.
It's really hard to pass. I think the 38 was on pit road. Napa's trying to work out scoring for him. He should not be affected too much down pit road. He was one of those guys that were getting their laps back. I mean, Sean's just class of the field. Even when catching lap traffic, there's just nothing that anyone can do. He is the class of the field, and how do you get by him in Martinsville? He has been so good here. CJ slowly moving forward. He's been kind of stuck behind this 53 for most of the race. He's now gone by him, but in the process, New is moving up to P7, and Luke staying in the top 10. Sims is flying up the field. About 60, 70 laps ago, she was back in the 20s. She's now up to P13, battling Bug. Perry has faded back a little bit. I mean, just all throughout the field, there was a bunch of battles. Look at this dinged up car. This was all the way back from the first caution. Jacob is still out here on the lead lap with this torn up race car, but that's Martinsville for you.
Yeah, we gotta see if that stays true. As going through here, we still have some screwed up cars. Sean, though, starting to build a lead on the number 9, on the number 36 Data, and we are already gonna catch lap traffic here very soon. And yet Sheldon Breed also started to drop spots. New has got by him, and now here comes New for P5, potentially on Flower. And now Chase also attacking back just ahead of this.
Yeah, we have not seen anyone be able to change this top 3 like all race, other than when they change their own positions. Chase is finally trying to change that. Seems like that car is pretty well adjusted now with all these cautions. Been able to try and pounce now. This top 2 is running away. Mac is faded just a little bit. This might be where the fall off slightly begins for this 44. Chase drives it in, is not going to play friendly. Going for P3. He's going to get it. Mac will slot right back into P4 with a good gap to P5. But now Chase into the mix. It is not too late to get back up here, especially because we will catch traffic before the end of this one. Bug is on pit road. I'm hearing tire down on the 50. Our points leader is going to fade a little bit here. They're changing the left side tires. Tire down on the 50. That is not good. His best bet is maybe getting a free pass if a caution comes out, but that is not good for that 50 team, the points leader.
Yeah, but that's really good for the man who's been so consistent, been very consistent this year, who we're looking at right now, Data, who has been trying to chase down that 50, but that 50 has been so good to start this year that it just hasn't mattered how good Data has been. But he was about 32 points behind Bug to start this year, and coming into this race, I'm betting that's going to close majorly if things stay like they are right now.
Yeah, he has 27 points behind Bug after they left Motegi. I imagine that's going to close up massively after this race if Bug doesn't get any possessions here. But on the flip side, we have the leaders that caught up to Gino Cup, and they also caught up to Bella, who was the cause of that caution. Oh, back corner!
We're back under caution. This is what Bug needs. He should get the free pass from this. I am unaware of where this caution is. There was some sort of stack up. We saw the smoke. I am unaware of who it is. We are going to have to take a look at a replay. I am unaware of who this was. Everyone looks in a similar position as where they were running. Raven's got a bit of a dinged up front end. Could be a cause of it, could also just be a cause of something happening under green. There's always stack ups at this track. But we are back under caution. Let's see what happened once again.
As we see here, we identified what the caution was, and here it was. Meme trying to get around Nexus code. Spins him around, TXN hits him. Pretty good there on the front end. And then nothing else from that point on, but our first wreck between serious contenders potentially this race. Another caution is out. The backstretch is always where these wrecks tend to happen.
Who you're looking at right here, free pass. Bug can now try and move his way back up through the field. It was a tame one, a rare scenario here in Martinsville, but we've gotten away with a few minor accidents that could have been big. Let's get right back to the restart. Can anyone dethrone Sean in the 9? Another restart here in Martinsville. We've gotten a lot of crashes, but some tame crashes, shockingly enough. Can we keep it clean in the end? Green flag is back in the air, a bit more even this time to the top 5, a bit less spread. Sean in control.
See Mac looking to be inside of Chase there.
Couldn't get it. And now,
good run there.
A lot of good runs, but it's so hard to actually get it to pay off. I mean, it's just the same story. If you're Data, you're like, I've made all the adjustments I can. How do I get by this 9 car? Flower for P4.
Oh, Flower.
She is finally having the day that she needs, looking to capitalize and get herself back into the points battle. It has been just an insanely rough start. Not even just bad luck, just hasn't had the fastest cars. Trying to move forward now up to P4. She's been in this position before, but has not been able to stay in that spot. But now ahead of one of her contenders, Mac. Let's see if now, can she try and pick her way forward and have a chance to play spoiler here? Here comes Newt looking for P5. He has been lights out in these lower series.
Yep, New moving forward, although it goes a bit wide there in turns 3 and 4. Flower in the previous lap got by Mac as well, but if you're Chase, you gotta be frustrated because this is the second week in a row that that 04 machine has been stuck behind that 36 car of Data, but Data, I imagine, is equally as frustrated because though he's been the second best car all race long, just nobody's been able to pass that 9 car. He hasn't, and the car that's around 2 spots behind him, and Mac also hasn't been able to, as Mac seems to be fading on this shorter run, and Flower, along with CJ, who's behind Mac, seem to be coming alive.
Ooh, yeah, this is... We're coming down to it. 14 laps to go. I mean, Sean's just putting up a Hall of Fame performance. It's just, what else could you do? I just don't really know if your data. What else can you do? Like, we're gonna catch the tail end of lap traffic. You see that dinged up 13 of Nexus code, Gino Cap. I mean, you are probably gonna at least catch the tail end of the field, but these are cars that are just gonna let you by. These cars are all damaged and not gonna put up much of a fight. What do you do if you're data? You do not want to give this win up. You do have a win, but you always want more. But Sean's just lights out. This is his track. He was the odds-on favorite this weekend, and proving why. Sheldon Pre missed the corner a little bit. Here comes Arctic for P9, and New and Luke still battling on track. I think Luke got by New. New's now trying to look back under him and grab that spot back.
Yeah, and well, we defeated New, one of the guys in this field last season. Sean did, to win a truck race at the Martinsville. Now back to the inside of Flower. Can't get anything to go though.
Oh man, how rubs it? Oh, trouble the track, contact. Cars are getting involved. It's the Martinsville stack up. Breck Blue is sideways, and Flower is in it. Chase is in it in the 04. Flower has a lot of damage, and we're back under caution with under 10 laps to go. A back marker car got spun in front of the pack, and the stack up has damaged the 3 of Flower. Unbelievable. I am heartbroken. Oh my goodness. Something happened to the 5. We are back under caution at Martinsville. The chaos has begun. What has happened? Let's take a look. Oh, there's Redeem with a lot of damage. Yeah, a lot of damage.
Let's see what brings out our first major incident of caution of the day. An isolated stuck behind Breck Blue, having an issue here. Very clearly trying to somehow get off track and get out of the way, and just can't. Gets hit by Chase, plowed by Flower, hit by Mac, and then hit by Sheldon Preed as well. And then as we keep looking here, a bit further behind, Dalton hits him, and then further on, Redeem slams into Breck Blue, collecting TXN and Sub NASCAR into this big time front stretch incident. Not a place we usually see wrecks at this track, but this time we have seen it, and lots of guys' days have been ruined from it.
Yeah, Chase had some damage. Flower has race-ending damage, and Redeem also has had horrible luck to start the season. We got to take a few more looks at this.
And here we go into turns 3 and 4. Flower at this time running in the top 5, and unfortunately just nowhere to go for her, and nowhere to go for Chase in front of her as well.
Yeah, and also, real quick, Mac is in the top 5. He gets held up from that. He's one of the ones that were able to avoid contact, but in the end, lost some spots as we race back to cautions. Fell back to P9, and that will probably end his chance at winning after having an amazing car. Well, we're going to be restarting with barely any laps left in this race. Can we get to the end? 6 to go. Is this the final restart? In pure Martinsville fashion, we keep wrecking. This was what, our 5th caution? I don't even remember. We're back green. CJ gets an unreal restart. He'll actually jump to the bottom of data and take P2 out of nowhere. CJ's in the next trying to contend for a win.
Yeah, CJ not really regarded as a short track guy. He's mainly prowess, on the intermediates, but now in the P2 and now has 1 target left. It's that number 9 machine that nobody's been able to beat all day. Now Chase to the inside of Data for P3. Some new guys into the mix. F35, Luke there back in the top 5 for the first time since the first 20 laps of the day. Chase fighting to get around that number 36 machine. Can he get around him? Yes, he does.
Yep, Data's leaking places as he's now lost 2 positions. Was second before that caution, And Mac as well loses a place there to New, but now we have a new contender as nobody's really been able to challenge Sean and CJ, a new player, and behind them, look at Luke, by the way. Luke up into the 5th place position. Good job for him. And Matthew, Cole, Cam, we have not seen them all race long, and that caution changes the complexion of things. Look at Data to the inside there, Chase, and Luke might be next there.
Looking to get that spot back, but now 2 to go here. Can anybody beat this number 9 machine? We will see.
Now, Sean has had an unreal race. CJ's gotten up to P2, but there has not really been much contest. Flagman already has the white flag in hand. Will we get there? It looks like we will. Sean takes the white flag in Martinsville. He has dominated this race, just trying to bring it home in one piece. Can he do that? Down the back straightaway for the final time. Chase trying to hold on to P4 with that damage. There's a lot of stuff going on. Oh, there's contact up ahead of him. Wrecking. We'll get back to that.
But coming to the line, not grandfather clock for Sean. He got one in trucks. He's got one here. First win for Sean. We're wrecking big time in the back.
Big crash in the back. Sean is going to win.
We're still going on.
TXN's in it. Bella's in it.
TXN got turned. Somebody was not happy with him. And it was just like last year for TXN. He wrecks out at the finish of this race.
Oh my goodness. Martinsville and crashes are wild. Something wild has happened. Sean wins, but we practically missed it because we have big wrecks. We basically knew Sean was already going to take the checkered flag, but our cameras see a huge crash on the back straightaway. Luckily, these drivers will all be credited with finishing this race as it was on the white flag, but big trouble. So that means we are not even done with replays. But Sean, first win of the season, he is locked into the playoffs, proving why he is so good at Martinsville. Let's take a look at a few things. As we see Sean come off turn 4 and take the checkered flag, chaos ensues.
And then we see what happens here on the white flag. Meme to the inside of NASCAR Sim, trying to at least hooks him in the wall. NASCAR Sim tries to get him back. Scene gets hit, Preldon Pre gets collected, and then a pileup begins. Noah, Mike, Whitty flies by this to avoid it. And then you also see further on, TXN checking up to avoid it, gets slammed by Bella, unable to really tell what's happening in front of her, and a lot of destroyed cars make it to the finish. But nonetheless, Martinsville strikes. It just took a long while to do so.
And here we go, flying by through the field as we see the leaders there in 3 and 4. In the back, we have NASCAR Sim getting turned into the wall. Scene gets hit by Bug. The 8 of NASCAR Sim gets hit again by the 12, I think that is. As the 77 gets by there, isolated on the grass. Bella, not really sure what's happening in front of her, hits TXN, and Martinsville once again, another incident on the back straightaway.
Meme, second time he has gotten into someone, but this was all on the white flag. Let's take a look at the finishing results of an insane race. After an insanely wild race here at Martinsville that has produced another last lap accident. We saw that at Auto Club as well. Let's take a look at the finishing results. Sean, pure domination. He is going to be a problem for years to come at this track. CJ comes out of nowhere, steals the P2. Data, Chase, Matthew rounds out the top 5. Great recovery for Matthew. Luke and Cole, P6, P7. Cam finally gives that 97 a good run. And Mac and New round out the top 10. Arctic comes on 11th. He had a great race. Then we got the rookie Raven in 12th. Sims returns. She finishes 13th. And then back here in this little group with Meme, Sheldon, Pre, Ty. These are all guys that were around that wreck. They salvaged decent days, 16th, 17th, and 18th. Whitty gets a top 20. And then behind the top 20 is all the cars that were behind the wreck or involved in the wreck that just had some trouble. Like Bug, the points leader, finishes 23rd. Data's going to close big time on that cutoff. Bug should keep the points lead, but Data will be right there if Bug has another bad race at Bristol. And then the back half of the field, we see some drivers that were caught up in wrecks like TXN and Nexus Code. They did not have good runs. And then Flower suffers another DNF. This really sucks for her because she is such a talented driver, but just has not had things go her way this season. 4 DNFs at Martinsville does not tell the tale of everything that went crazy here. We could have had so much more DNFs if this wreck simply happened one lap earlier, but since it happened on the white flag, a lot of these guys were able to make it to the finish line and salvage whatever position they can. And here in the MXTV booth, that will do it here at Martinsville. Well, guys, Chris and Mac in the booth. It was a relatively calm race. It was hard to pass, but for whatever reason, in these final 40 laps, anarchy just struck. How'd you guys think of this race today?
I mean, it was typical Martinsville behavior once we saw that popped up in the last 40 laps. Usually it's a whole race ordeal, but it constrained itself to the last little bit. And we saw pretty much what Sean replicated last year in trucks at this place. Controlled chaos. He held the lead and dominated while everybody else wrecked themselves, and he cruised to a dominant victory.
And for me, I said in pre-race that I was expecting the cars to be closer together, and they were, but I could not have predicted the amount of carnage and the amount of reps that we saw, especially later in the run, because it's like a tale of two different stories, right? In the first half of the race, it was pretty calm, and we had some good green flag battles and some good action there. But later on, it seems like the intensity picked up, and it just got crazy.
And that will do it here for Martinsville. And the chaos has just officially begun because we still got the cup race tomorrow, and these guys always put on a wild show. Who knows what's going to happen in the cup race, but that will do it for us in the MXTV booth. One more time, I'm Dylan, joined by Chris and Mac. We will see you guys then for the conclusion of Martinsville weekend for the Cup Series. Congratulations to Sean once again. First win of the season.